Hello, I'm Gabriela Cascinano, and today I'll talk about personal development, benefits, and pitfalls. This is part of the webinar series, Introvert Tools for Navigating Challenging Situations. A few words about Introverts Academy. Our mission is to raise awareness about introvert strengths and how to tap into their impressive inner power for personal, professional, organizational, and systemic development to build a better world for all of us. And we're doing this at 4 levels: individual, interpersonal, group, and systemic level. The webinars included in the series Introvert Tools for Navigating Challenging Situations are introductory webinars to the curriculum of Introverts Academy, which is based on a holistic approach to life. As you can see here, there are different aspects that we cover in the Introverts Academy, and for each of them we created an introductory webinar. Today we'll talk about personal development in the context of extroversion, introversion, and if you don't know where you fit on the spectrum, there is a quiz on our website. A few words about myself. I'm an introvert, and this is my journey timeline. As you can see, I started in the technical field, engineering, IT programming, quality assurance. I changed my career to coaching, I started my business and my self-growth journey. I did workshops, design, delivery. I started writing books at one point, even if I was not a writer before. I self-published my books, which became Amazon bestsellers. And I started the Introverts Academy. This is my formal way to present my background, my education, my experience. I'm an award-winning author and the founder of Introverts Academy. Today I'll talk about the benefits of starting and continuing your self-growth journey, the challenges you might encounter along the way, so they don't take you by surprise or blind your vision, and how to befriend your inner critic to help you overcome the pitfalls on your journey. I checked the Cambridge Dictionary about the definition for personal development, and it is related only to HR management. They say personal development is the process of improving your skills and increasing the amount of experience that you have in your job. So as you see, it's more related to the external factor, the job you have. What do you need to do to increase your skills and the experience so you don't lose the job? If you're not familiar with the terms intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, intrinsic motivation comes from within, while extrinsic motivation arises from external factors. When you are intrinsically motivated, you engage in an activity because you either enjoy it or get personal satisfaction from doing it, or both. When you are extrinsically motivated, you do something in order to gain an external reward. And for intrinsic motivation, there are so many aspects of your life you might want to improve, which will give you motivation to start your professional development and grow on that journey. If you look from the extroversion and introversion perspective, they have complementary innate strengths. One of them is extroverts get motivated by external factors, awards, recognition, while introverts find their motivation from inside by focusing on meaningful topics, meaningful causes, but something that's really important to them, they're passionate about. So you can see how this plays a role in your professional path. Let's talk about the benefits of starting and continuing your self-growth journey. The first one, when you make a conscious decision to start your professional development journey, you take the first step toward a better and brighter future for yourself. Because whatever you do in that aspect of your life will have a ripple effect in the other aspects of your life. It will help you improve the relationship with others, relationship with yourself, your relationship with money. What you get out of your passion and hobbies, you'll be able to create a more intentional environment that help you advance on the path that you want. You'll have more motivation to focus on your holistic health and, of course, to take your professional path to the next level. In the Introverts Academy, we also talk about the life operating system, which we call Introvert's Hero Journey. If you look at the base, you become aware that something might be frustrating, stressful for you. Then you set an intention, you give yourself permission to go in this direction, you take actions, you find resources which will help you build new skills. And that's a cycle of transformational journey. Then you start another cycle, and that's how you progress on your professional development path. I like what Anais Nin said, and the day came when the risk to remain tied in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. So you can see, when you feel frustrated, stressed out, you feel that you don't get much out of this life, you might be at that moment when you have to start working more on yourself, to take the risk to blossom. For the second benefit, I want to bring out what Abraham Maslow said. In any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. And you might be tempted to stay into safety, but guess what? What today seems that it's safe, it might not be tomorrow. Let's look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He's talking about psychological needs, safety needs, social needs, self-esteem needs, and self-actualization. The first three, he groups them in deficiency needs, and the last one, self-actualization, is the one for growth. The lower two, psychological and safety needs, these are the basic needs. It's hard to focus on your growth when you don't have food to put on the table. Psychological needs like social needs and self-esteem needs are also very important, so focus on them. And the last one is for self-fulfillment. And even Maslow later on realized that there is another one after self-actualization. He calls it self-transcendence. When you arrive to a point when you care about others, and you have here the definition Maslow gives to each of these group of needs. Let me share a story. A man was walking in the forest, it started getting dark and raining. He found a cave and went inside. He saw something that it looked like a snake, and he was frightened and stayed in that position until the morning came, and some rays of light entered in the cave, and he realized that it was not a snake, it was a rope. That's what's happening when you focus on your self-growth journey. You become more aware that there are other ways of thinking, of perceiving the world that actually are helpful. Which leads us to the second benefit of starting and continuing your journey. It increases self-confidence. You become more aware and resilient. I don't know if you're familiar with the 4 stages. That's what's happening when you want, for example, to increase your work performance. At the beginning, you might lack awareness of what you need to increase your performance. You are in unconscious incompetence stage. Then you move into the awareness stage when you become aware of what you need to improve, which we call conscious incompetence. You're still not able to get to that level, but at least you are aware that there's something you need to do. And then you take step-by-step action. And in this stage, we call it a conscious competence because it's not only you're aware of it, but you build that new competence. You arrive to a point when you're unconscious of your competence because it became a second nature. That is a skilled stage. And that's about anything you want to do in life. If you feel that you are at a moment when you're frustrated about your situation, maybe you need to think about, what am I missing here? Try to become more aware of what do you need to go to the next level and start taking steps and continue on that path to arrive to that skilled stage when you can do things in a different way. It becomes much easier to do things that you didn't do before, and you can move on to the next stage. There are people who have a fixed mindset. This is what it is. This is a situation. I cannot do anything. And they even find reasons why they can't do something about it. This is what we call a fixed mindset. But if you go through that cycle, 1, twice, as much as it's needed, you start building your growth mindset. When you start looking into, what do I really want? How can I get there? So you're not defined anymore about what it is right now. You're going through what it is right now, but you start taking steps to get to the level that you want. You're growing your mindset. And that opens a lot of new opportunities for you. I like what T.S. Eliot said. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. So do you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? There are ways to get into that growth mindset, and personal development is one of them. The third benefit of starting and continuing your self-growth journey is you get to see the world in a different way. Not only you build your self-confidence, but you get also peace of mind. You see things that you didn't see before. The whole perception you have about the world changes. To give you an example from one of my clients, she said, "It's amazing how Gabriela, through her ingenious combination of coaching methods, guided me patiently and wisely to blowing up my limiting beliefs, leading to the biggest discovery of my life, the awareness of my inner force and its unlimited potential. Previously, I was seeing life as being hard, but thanks to her mastery, my perspective shifted. I find it now as an incredibly exciting and enjoyable journey." That's what's happening when you start and advance on your self-growth journey. Before you had limiting beliefs, you become aware of them, you start working on them, and after, you become more aware of your inner force and potential. I published this book, Meeting with Myself, self-coaching questions that invite wisdom in, to give you questions to ponder so you can identify your limiting beliefs and find out what else you can do. It's like having a coach by your side when you go through the pages of that book. Now let me share a few benefits that I've got from starting and continuing my self-growth journey. The first one is the awareness about myself, about who I am. It became a self-discovery journey, like peeling the onion. More I learn about myself, I notice that it's more, and I discover new skills, I discover new talents that I have that I didn't think about before. Also, it helped me increase my emotional intelligence, how I deal with the emotions, how I react to what's going on out there. It helped me build self-confidence and self-esteem. I can stand out for myself. I can create safe boundaries and share them with others so they know where I stand. I also make better decisions. It helped me to increase my courage to take those leap of faith from changing engineering to coaching to starting a business. It helped me increase my inner strength so I have the power to pursue what I want. It taught me how to stay motivated. No matter if I see the results or not, I stay motivated toward the goals that I set for myself. And also it helped me to be patient, so I can work through whatever challenges I have and move forward in the directions that I want. It allowed me to get a better view, better perspective about what's going on in the world, and not live in that fear that many people live in. It freed myself of worries, including what others say about me. I have a daily meditation practice since 2007 that helped as well. It also gave me a sense of belonging and enjoy my life, even if I'm single. I see so many people who don't have a partner, who don't have a family, they crave belonging. But when you start walking the path of self-growth, you'll notice this sense of belonging developing. You're part of a bigger picture, that oneness that people are talking about. And as you can see from our journey, I'm really enjoying all the steps, the ups and downs I'm going through because it gave me a purpose and tools how to navigate the journey. It also taught me to take responsibility for whatever I'm doing. I've got into debt when I changed careers to take new courses in the new direction. Then I paid off my debt. I take responsibility for my decisions. It also helped me create better relationship with others and myself and be more selective who I interact with. It increased my resilience and my capacity to embrace change and also to keep my composure and trust that I can break through tough conditions. It sharpened my connection with my intuition. I get inspired, I get solutions. Introverts Academy, that's how I got the idea. I was inspired to start this project. It helped me build a successful mindset, so I don't give up whenever I encounter challenges or I don't see the results. It increased my creativity. I'm a self-taught artist, painting, jewelry design, writing. My first book, Introverts Leverage Your Strengths for an Effective Job Search, I use an interdisciplinary approach to write it. It's not only about job search or career development, it's a combination of this with coaching, with a lot of other concepts from different fields to help introverts leverage better their strengths in that specific situation and build more meaningful career for themselves. And because I use an interdisciplinary approach, the book won an award. It was an Amazon bestseller in 7 countries when I published and several times since. So you can see how self-development can help you get better results. The other 4 are from my photo coaching series, where I combine images with questions or text so people can figure out what they need instead of just writing a full book full of advice that might not work for everyone. Those photo coaching books might help you understand where you are and what you need based on your specific situation. Let's talk now about the self-growth challenges, so they don't take you by surprise or blind your vision. Because it was my case, and that's why I wanted to share this with you, so you don't get into the same challenges that I went through. For example, if you don't see signs or results that we are on the right path, you might question, are we in the right direction? And you might even think that it doesn't work. It happened to me when I shifted from engineering to coaching and I started my business. At the beginning, I didn't see results. I didn't see that there's something happening in that direction. And I questioned, was that the right career change? Is it the right path for me? At the beginning, I started my business. I started sending a newsletter. And after 3 newsletters, I stopped because nothing happened. No one made any comment. I didn't know if people are reading it. So I stopped sending that newsletter. I started having doubts. Am I in the right direction? It doesn't seem to work. But at one point I met someone who was receiving my newsletter and he said, I don't know what's going on. I don't receive your newsletter anymore. And it was very interesting. Then I realized that even if I didn't see the results, any signs, it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. So I start sending again the newsletter. So don't just say it doesn't work if you don't see signs or results. You need to be consistent on that path. Some people say, it's too hard, I'm afraid of what could happen, and they even give up and they go back to whatever they did before. You might think that it's too hard, but in time it gets not only easier, but you enjoy more the process and you understand how to deal with it. Another challenge is there is so much information out there. There are many people teaching, many books, many sources of information. And if you try to follow too many sources, you might get lost. And I got a client who did that. She tried to follow different gurus, and sometimes the information she received was contradictory. And she got lost. She didn't know what to do. So try to be more consistent. Start with one source of information that you resonate with, and then you can add to it. Some people consider that it's totally okay where I am, it's not so bad, I better stay here, so they stay in their comfort zone. But what's happening actually, they miss opportunities, and that comfort zone might not be safe. There might be new challenges, new situations in the future that might not make it so comfortable. So what do you do right now to prepare yourself for what's coming up? Tony Robbins says often, if you are not growing, you are dying. Dying inside because you shut down your dreams. You shut down your chance to be happy, to enjoy your life, discover more about yourself. I met people who say, I know this, I know it all. They're not interested to open up. They have that fixed mindset that we were talking earlier, so they stop growing. We live in a world where there are so many distractions, and it's so easy to lose focus. You need to stay focused on whatever you want to create in your life, on your self-growth path, if you want to advance in that direction. I was in this situation as well. The self-growth journey could become an addiction. You love so much what you learn, the new information, what you learn about yourself, that you want more and more. So you focus so much on the learning process that you neglect other aspects of your life. That's why I put, again, the holistic approach. You might focus on personal development, but you might isolate yourself from others. You might not focus on what you need to bring money in, to create the environment that will give you the energy to focus on what's next. You might even neglect your health, and will affect you. So you have to pay attention to that as well. Don't just focus on personal growth. It's very important, You get a lot out of this process, but you also have to understand to put things in perspective. Now let's talk about the inner critic and how it can help you overcome pitfalls, because it could sabotage you. One of the nicknames of the inner critic is the saboteur. It's that little voice in your mind who said, I don't know what to do, I'm not good enough. Who am I to, or it's too much to learn, let me check this. And you get into all kinds of distractions and forget to come back. It's better here where I am, I'm in a comfortable situation, I'm okay. About the last one, when I was going through my MBA, I had a colleague and he said, why do you do the MBA? You don't have a management position. I'll go through an MBA when I will be in a management position. And my answer was, I'm doing it now to be prepared for a management position. So if you work on yourself to prepare yourself for the future, you allow those opportunities not only to show up in your life, but you'll be ready to take on. Dealing with your inner critic might feel like pushing a very heavy box because it's very loud sometimes, and it was like this for all our life, so you have to learn how to deal with it. If you say, I want to go in this new direction, your inner critic say, hey, let's look at what it is right now, it's pretty good here, why should we go there? And tells you all the things that I just mentioned earlier. One way of dealing with inner critic, one method, is to simply ignore your inner critic and do it anyway. Go in the directions that you want. One word of caution, if you're doing it anyway, is like in that saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because if you ignore the inner critic, you might ignore some signals that could help you on that path. And ignoring those signals might lead you into trouble or more challenges. The second method is bypass your inner critic. It's still there, but you bypass it by focusing on what you really want. When you focus on what you want, you will get an idea what's the first step that you can do. If you think about those 4 stages, you become more aware, oh, I'm missing this, let me focus on it. So you take action. And after that, think again about what you want, and you get another idea, and you take a second action, and another, and this is how you build your path. You don't have to know everything from the beginning. Just go back after each action to your goal and see what else do you need to advance in that direction. And by doing that, you bypass your inner critic, because it's like planning. You create an action plan, but you have to pay attention to what's coming along the way so you can adjust your plan. It's the same thing. If you go from point A to point B, just ignoring your inner critic, you want to go in that direction, no matter what, ignore all the information that comes along, you might miss something. So you have to take it step by step. And the third method is to befriend your inner critic. Because your inner critic, it's like a friend with unskilled communication skills. What I mean by that, let's say you want to go into a direction, that yellow arrow. If you take the first method, do it anyway, you might go on one of the other paths, the gray path, that might not take you in the direction that you want. But when you pay attention to your inner critic and you say, actually he wants to tell me something, what could be the wisdom in what he is saying? For example, when I started writing, my inner critic said, English is not your first language. Why do you start writing a book directly in English? Instead of stopping or publishing that book with my level of English, I ask, what can I do? I start doing some research and I find out there is a profession. There are people who are professional editors, and after I wrote the book, I approached professional like that, and she adjusted my English to sound like a native English speaker. So it's not that you have to ignore, you can ask yourself what actually the inner critic wants to tell you, so it can help you in the directions that you want. So we talked about the benefits of starting and continuing your self-growth journey, the challenges you might encounter along the way so they don't take you by surprise or blind your vision, and how to befriend your inner critic to help you overcome the pitfalls on your journey. If you want some assistance on this path, you can find more information on our website. Also, you can watch on YouTube the other webinars from the series Introvert Tools for Navigating Challenging Situations, and follow us on social media, subscribe to our newsletter to get updates on what's new, because we continue to update our products, create new courses, so there's a lot to come. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on that little bell to get notified when we upload a new video. Thank you.